started 3.5 years ago, really thinking about the world, what would be the world in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's Paititi, and we knew it was an actual place that one missionary found and talked, abundantly about it. What if Lara would get into a tomb, thinking it's a tomb, and then realize that actually it's still a city with living people, how she would react to that.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is what we call the end of the beginning. It closes the origin story.
This is the destination. So at the end of this origin trilogy, this is where she would become the Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider 213 was a lot about what it means to be Lara, and she was trying to define herself as a person. And then in Rise of the Tomb Raider, she's in her quest to finding what it means to be a Croft. Now, the beginning of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, well, she knows what it means to be Lara Croft, and we're exploring what it is to be a Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider.
Before, in the two previous games, she never had to deal with the consequence of her own action. It was always a consequence of the action of other people, and she was going through that fairly efficiently. But this time around, in this game, she causes the first big problem in the game, which is causing the Maya apocalypse.
And so what we have in Shadow of the Tomb Raider is really a story in which heroism is no longer just about being first or strongest or smartest or having the best intentions. It's really defined in your response to what you do after things go terribly wrong.
In Rise, we went with sort of spaces that you would enter ascending, you would look up into the light. It was an almost getting closer to God, basically. While in Shadow of the Tomb Raider is about descending. That's why we call them the deadly tombs, because these spaces were made there were rituals or trials to cull the unworthy, as opposed to you fixing something to get up to a tower. Now you would actually descend into a space and you would face a trial that will kill you if you make a mistake. So while the puzzles are on the same level of complexity, they are way more dangerous in themselves.
When you get into the tomb are about 3 times the size, 2 or 3 times the size of the one found in Rise.
I love that we added those difficulty levels that you can set differently for traversal, for combat, and for puzzle. And if what really challenges you, what you really want to do is feel super smart in solving a super complex puzzle, then just turn the difficulty of the puzzles to hard. You won't get any hint, nothing will glow, you won't know what to do, and you'll have to figure it out on your own.
In terms of gameplay, I'll focus on gameplay. There's a lot of difference. I would say there's more difference in Shadow of the Tomb Raider to Rise that Rise was, because it's about exploring survival and fear and darkness and things like that. The way we expand the grappling hook to a rappel forces us to rethink the way we were approaching the world. The world is completely different the way we build it, like we have way more verticality than before. And combat, we expanded all the arsenal and tools that Lara will have in stealth, which we didn't have in Rise. Rise was much more about what we called assault, so all the arsenal was about making you much more efficient when you were in open fire against the enemy. Now we open a lot more opportunity with stealth, whatever it's mud. There's also a skill where you can hide people in trees, whatever you are, using some element to create some fear or chaos in terms of psychological warfare.
Next from Deacon training. Look out.
Terrible.
I'll kill you all!
And now we have evolving side missions that give Lara the opportunity not only to have like a multi-stage gameplay experience, but also to realize how she influences and impacts the development of Paititi around her.
In Shadow, we knew we had to go more into that because we wanted to explore humanity, like we were talking, and about Lara being more human and connecting with these people. And like I was saying at the beginning, the hub was smaller in Rise, but then suddenly we had a lot more depth to it and space of people that feels like a city, and then we had the jungle and we had the underwater, and then because of the rappel and everything, we had a layer on top, like a crazy amount of verticality. So it became something that was way bigger than anything we ever seen from the reboot.
I think what is important about Shadow of the Tomb Raider is its contrast. In terms of that, it involves lonely, dark spaces where you're stuck in a crevice underwater all by yourself, gasping for air, up to the point when you're in Paititi among people in the light, and you have a completely different gameplay mandate. So the contrast of experience in Shadow of the Tomb Raider is just extremely great. And I think that really enriches and empowers the series. Not only that it shows like a masterful Lara, but it shows like a Lara that is mastering herself in reflection of this environment. And it gave us the opportunity to create like the most varied gameplay that we've seen in the series. And I really think we went on a leap with that, and I hope the players will appreciate that we did that leap.